What's happening, guys? How's it going? So, yeah, no doubt most of you have probably heard there's an ongoing negotiation for a unification fight at light heavyweight between WBC champion and quote unquote lineal champion Oleksandr Usyk and Artur Beterbiev, the IBF champion. Now, Gvozdyk and Beterbiev have a lot in common. They're both, quite big for the weight. They're both pretty big punchers. They're both top level amateurs. And if I'm being honest, this is a fight that I'm actually quite surprised that this fight's going ahead because it just seemed like one of those fights that was like too good to be true. And obviously it isn't confirmed yet. We don't know if it's going to happen, but it's reportedly going to be taking place later on this year. So let's talk about it. And this is one that I'm kind of torn down the middle on. I really don't know what to say about this one. I really don't know who to pick because both of these guys have looked absolutely fantastic so far in their careers. They have shown flaws though. Beterbiev was knocked down earlier in his career by a journeyman, and Gvozdyk, of course, was knocked down and hurt quite badly by Tommy Karpensky. So they have shown their vulnerabilities, but when they've had to step up, they've stepped up good. I mean, Beterbiev in his world title win against Enrique Coeling, for me, showed a lot of stamina as well as a lot of power and got him out of there in the 12th. And as for Gvozdyk, I mean, he came of age when he fought Adonis Stevenson. I mean, that was just a fantastic performance. And yeah, Adonis Stevenson was past his prime. I mean, he was 41 years old, but he was still in very good shape. He was still looking quite impressive. So I think the way that Gvozdyk bought, the way that he fought, the way that he went over to Canada and completely took away Adonis Stevenson's left hand, outwitted, outfought, outboxed, outlanded, and then brutally knocked him out in the later rounds, a brutal 11th round knockout. And yeah, unfortunately Stevenson was injured, but seems to be doing okay now. Seems to be recovering. So yeah, God bless. And yeah, I just think that in his world title fight, because going into it there was so much uncertainty, and although I felt he had a very good chance to win the fight, I wasn't ultimately confident enough to pick him because I had that Karpensky fight in the back of my mind, and I felt that Stevenson's punching power would be too much and could maybe prove to be too much for Gvozdyk, but Gvozdyk overcame it and yeah, it was very impressive. Both guys, like I said, they've shown their vulnerabilities, but they've shown their class. That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, when Beterbiev got dropped against Callum Johnson, it looked like he might get stopped, but he came back very well and won the fight by knockout. So both guys have shown, if nothing else, they've shown a lot of heart. They've shown that they can get up from a heavy knockdown and go on to win by stoppage. So it's one of them fights that I would be very surprised if this one goes the distance, if I'm being honest. I think there's going to be a knockout either way. I definitely think Beterbiev is the bigger puncher of the two, but I think that Gvozdyk has better hand speed. I think Gvozdyk has shown slightly better stamina to me. Gvozdyk is, he comes from that Lomachenko background, that the crazy unorthodox methods of training. I mean, these guys do crazy shit, like they walk around the gym on their hands and swims from one side of the Ukraine to the other. Like they do crazy workouts, those guys. And yeah, stamina and athleticism is not a problem for him. As for Beterbiev, I think he's a little bit more conventional. Very upright, but great punching technique, great variety. He's just so compact and physically strong, and when he catches you bang on the chin, he knocks you out. He's kind of like a Dmitry Kudryashov type, but with much better technique and skill and better stamina and movement too. I just think it's a really good fight, man. Who do I favour at this stage? Well, obviously either guy could win by knockout. Either guy has the power to knock the other one out. But to me, Gvozdyk, I would say looks to have a little bit more momentum. Beterbiev's entire career has been plagued by inactivity. He had some good wins early on, like against Tavoris Cloud and Gabriel Campillo, but when he had some injuries and when he had some promotional issues, he had all that time out of the ring, and he basically lost his prime years of his career. And I think that Gvozdyk to me seems to be at his prime. Even in his last fight against Ngumbu, I thought that Gvozdyk looked very sharp and very on point with his technique and his timing. So I do favour Gvozdyk slightly, maybe by a late stoppage, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Beterbiev caught him early and knocked him out, because I definitely think Beterbiev is the bigger puncher of the two. But I think Gvozdyk is a little bit quicker and more athletic, so I'm going to favour him for now. But when the fight gets made official, or if it gets official, I will make an official prediction for it. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, it's a really good fight if it gets made. Thanks for watching, and yeah, God bless. Stay tuned for more videos.